Can you kind of run through in a 20,000 foot view level how laws will continue to shift, morph based on what AI is, and then how Monarch will continue to basically put the teeth into some of these acts, not only now, but ones that will be created in the future?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's a really good question. So first off, if we look at the intent behind these laws, it's the intent seems, well, I'm not a lawyer, but in terms of my interpretation of them, they're to protect people, protect industry, protect business. And so these laws are being written to protect artists' works, intellectual property. And so without an enablement to be able to enforce the laws, they're largely theoretical. But they're aspirational. It's great. It's fantastic that someone takes the time and energy and gets all the consensus, pushes the bill through and gets that passed. That should not be in any way diminished. But it's sort of like saying, look, you're not allowed to drive on this side of the road, but nothing's going to happen if you do. Well, human nature was probably, I'm sure everyone listening to this podcast will realise that it's not going to be long before the act they pass into law or the law they put into the driving is just going to be forgotten. No one's going to care about it. So if you want to have people care, if you want the initial intent of the law to be placed, there has to be a way to enforce that law. Now, the only way to potentially enforce that law around name, image and likeness is have a definition of what likeness is. I don't see any definition of what likeness is. Like, what are the parameters around likeness? And so you can do it on name, which is pretty easy, and image, which is pretty easy, but likeness is pretty hard. So with the Elvis Act in particular, there's this intent is there to protect people around their likeness being used by generative AI in ways that they don't want it to be used. But even if they did want it to be used, how would they give consent? So there is no mechanism. So what Monarch is, it's an enabling technology that enables laws, statutes passed into law to be able to be enforced. And how do we do that? Well, we spent a long time with a lot of skills and a lot of people that come from different disciplines to understand how to create a likeness representation using AI. So basically what we've done is we've built very much like the payment networks that you use every day from Visa and MasterCard to be able to build some rails whereby a style can be utilized as an actual token. It's called a stylometric. That's our name, our fancy name to say our fancy, really complicated technology that goes and looks at an artist's works can be encapsulated into something that can be transacted. And so what we're about and why we can help these laws be enacted is that by utilizing a style token, just like when you tap your credit card and it gets authorized, we become the authorization agent of style. So when likeness is trying to be transacted upon, right, we've built a mechanism that plugs into all of the any different platform can sit on it. They're the foundational infrastructure that allows laws to actually have a backbone upon which transactions can be placed. Because every time a transaction is placed, a style has to be verified and it has to be authorized. And where the people that don't have a commercially vested interest in pushing their own platform, our interest is in building the rails which power an economy and an ecosystem to allow innovation of any of the different platforms. Whether you're an artist platform, whether you're a payment facilitator, whether you're a lawmaker, we allow untold amounts of innovation to happen because we're building the spine or the DNA that sits underneath all the different transactions. So from a law's perspective, what we do is we build an enabling technology that allows the laws, the intent of the laws to be enforced through a technological authorization engine.